The South China Sea was quiet that morning. Flat water, hazy sky, routine patrol. A scenario based on recent tensions in these waters and documented submarine tracking patterns from U.S. carrier operations. But inside the Combat Information Center of a U.S. destroyer, something changed. A sonar technician adjusted his headphones. The background hum shifted. Not waves, not marine life. Something mechanical, faint but rhythmic. A pulse that didn't belong. He marked it. The watch officer moved closer. What looked like ocean static became a pattern. The contact held steady. Depth around 110 meters, speed hovering near 8 knots. That signature told a story. Diesel-electric submarine running quietly on battery power. The destroyer transmitted the track to the strike group. Within seconds, screens across multiple ships painted the same picture. Something was moving beneath the USS Carl Vinson, not shadowing from a distance, prowling directly underneath the carrier's protective zone. A carrier doesn't travel alone. It moves inside a constellation of warships. Ticonderoga cruisers watch the sky. Arleigh Burke destroyers guard the perimeter. P-8 Poseidon aircraft scan hundreds of miles ahead. Below the surface, MH-60R helicopters hunt what fixed sensors miss. One lifted off with a focused objective. Confirm the contact. The helicopter hovered and dropped its dipping sonar into the ocean, reaching depths the destroyer couldn't touch. Sound traveled down. Silence came back. Then the ocean answered. Contact verified. A Chinese Yuan-class submarine was threading through the defensive screen of an American carrier. This wasn't observation from international waters. This was penetration. But diesel-electric boats have a fatal clock. They run silent on batteries, invisible when disciplined. But batteries drain. Air grows stale. Systems demand power. Eventually, physics makes the choice for you. Surface and breathe, or stay down and go dark. The strike group didn't rush. They tracked. Bearing, speed, depth changes, propeller blade count. Each rotation of the submarine's shaft added another detail to its profile. The sub thought it was hidden. The Americans were building a blueprint. The helicopter deployed another sonobuoy, not to find the submarine anymore, to study it. And then the battery math reached its limit. At 6:18, the ocean broke. One moment, empty horizon. The next, a black sail tower punched through the surface. Water streamed off metal. The submarine rose like something exhausted, gasping for air. Lookouts on the carrier's deck went still. They weren't watching a planned exercise. They were watching a foreign submarine surfaced inside the strike group's inner ring. Before anyone could process it, procedure took over. The radio crackled with flat, professional authority. Unidentified submarine. You're operating in proximity to United States naval forces. Maintain safe separation. No anger, no escalation. Just statement of fact, because control is a message by itself. From that second, the submarine became an intelligence goldmine. Every system it activated painted a picture. Radar mast extended. SATCOM antenna searching for signal. Radio bursts transmitted toward coastal stations. The electronic spectrum lit up. Above, the Seahawk repositioned and dropped another sonobuoy. Not hunting anymore. Recording. Every transmission frequency, every modulation quirk, every antenna imperfection that made this specific boat unique. The submarine had surfaced to survive. Instead, it broadcast its secrets. Strike group sensors drank it all in. Propeller acoustics at snorkel depth, hull vibrations during battery charge, communication protocols with home command. Months of careful stalking erased in minutes of desperation. The carrier didn't alter course. Destroyers held position without drama. Fighter jets still launched from the flight deck, engines screaming overhead. The Chinese crew must have felt like they'd surfaced inside an arena. For 12 minutes, the Americans treated the submarine like live ordnance. Dangerous if mishandled, predictable if tracked correctly. No warning shots, no aggressive maneuvers. Just quiet collection of everything that mattered. Eventually, the submarine slipped away. Sail tower descended. Hull angle changed. The ocean swallowed it again, leaving only a fading wake. No confrontation, no standoff drama. Just a foreign submarine backing out of a space it never should have entered. The strike group didn't celebrate. Destroyers returned to patrol sectors. The carrier resumed flight operations. Another FA-18 catapulted off the deck like nothing had happened. Inside the Combat Information Center, a watchstander typed a single line into the daily log. Contact departed operational area, full signature data collected. That was it. No commentary, no editorializing, just the facts that mattered. Diesel-electric submarines are predators, silent in shallow seas, lethal on ambush. But the ocean enforces its own rules. When you surface near a carrier strike group, you don't demonstrate strength. You expose vulnerability. The encounter ended without torpedoes, missiles, or headlines, but the outcome was already decided. The carrier didn't need to prove dominance. It already possessed something more valuable: information. In modern naval warfare, knowledge outlasts firepower. That day, the submarine traded stealth for survival. The Americans traded nothing. They simply recorded everything. And somewhere in a database, that submarine's fingerprint now exists. Every future encounter starts with an advantage. From my perspective, this encounter shows the difference between capability and control. The US Navy didn't need to react aggressively, fire across the bow, or create an international incident. They let discipline handle the situation. When that Chinese submarine surfaced that close to an American carrier, the real advantage wasn't in what could have been launched, it was in what could be learned. The strike group stayed calm, maintained position, and gathered data while the submarine had no choice but to expose itself. That's the approach of a force that doesn't need to prove dominance. It already operates from it. Meanwhile, the submarine revealed its acoustic fingerprint, electronic profile, and communication methods. All because the battery clock ran out. To me, this wasn't China projecting power. It was China showing limitations. In modern naval operations, the side that collects the most intelligence wins long before weapons come into play. The US didn't pursue superiority in that moment. It already possessed it. What happened out there wasn't about who carries the bigger missiles or sends the louder message. It's about who maintains composure when tension rises. The submarine surfaced, possibly trying to signal presence. Instead, it handed American intelligence analysts a complete profile. The carrier strike group didn't shout. They didn't escalate. They documented everything that mattered. That part stands out. While the submarine was attempting to demonstrate reach, the US Navy was recording data: the propeller signature, the radar characteristics, the radio patterns. Every second that boat remained surfaced was another second of information banked for future use. Here's what I want to ask you. If you commanded that submarine and your batteries were critical, what's your move? Surface near the carrier and accept the intelligence loss, or dive deeper and risk total power failure? Leave your answer in the comments. Those discussions always reveal interesting tactical perspectives. And think about this. The US Navy didn't need to demonstrate force. They didn't aim weapons. They didn't create escalation. They allowed discipline to communicate for them. That, to me, represents genuine power. Now, another question. If you were standing watch on the USS Carl Vinson when that submarine broke surface, would you have recommended aggressive positioning, or would you have trusted your sensors and training to handle it? Drop your thoughts below. The comments section consistently delivers the most insightful analysis. And if you want more real-world naval breakdowns like this, hit subscribe. It supports the channel and ensures you catch the next incident before anyone else. Because these encounters happen more often than most people realize. In naval warfare, power isn't measured by volume. Power is measured by information advantage. And sometimes, the quietest response wins decisively. The submarine surfaced, thinking it would send a message about Chinese naval reach. Instead, it created a file that American intelligence will reference for years. The ocean doesn't pick favorites. But that day, preparation and patience decided the outcome. The strike group already knew how the encounter would end before the submarine even surfaced. Knowledge doesn't just beat firepower, it makes firepower irrelevant.